Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to our third installment of Building with Chimp and Name. I know it's a little bit late in the evening, afternoon, might even be morning, depending on where you live. But we are here because it is daily Fridays. It's weekly. That actually makes no sense. Anyway, with me today, I do have, of course, my buddy Chimpact. He can say hi, introduce himself.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chimpact here.
Keep it chimping, everybody. If you guys have not subscribed to Chimp already, I definitely encourage you to do so. Very great content, very good content. He's a strong battler, and I very much enjoy his videos. So today we are building around the core of m-diancie plus Diancie Talonflame. This was submitted by what was his name again, Chimp?
The Evolution Crew.
Evolution Crew, otherwise known as Most Dope. I know this because he comments on my videos a lot, but I know him as Most Dope, not the Evolution Crew. Anyway, Chimp, why don't you talk about this core a bit?
So m-diancie and Talonflame complement each other really well. Just because the things that trouble Diancie are primarily steel types, which Talonflame has no problem with. You can pressure on with hazards and Talonflame's presence. And the things that Diancie doesn't, the thing that Talonflame doesn't handle well, Diancie handles really well, like Heatran and Landorus and some other Pokemon, Tyranitar.
Like T-Tar to an extent. So that's why we decided on that set. The Diancie we want to build around this time, we might actually change it, but we're looking at Calm Mind Rock Polish. Now, there's two reasons why we have this. Calm Mind is really good versus Balance. If the team is slow, you Calm Mind up and you can wreak havoc. Now, Rock Polish is actually amazing versus offense because offense, of course, can't take hits. You Rock Polish up and you start sweeping them. Of course, you can put Diamond Storm over Calm Mind, run Naive Nature, stuff like that. But right now, we're just looking at Timid, 252 attack, special attack, sorry, 252 speed, and then just 4 defense. We just threw it there. And also, we wanted to run SD Talonflame, of course. The preferred spread that I like is 88 HP, 252 attack, and then 168 speed. That way, you can outspeed Raikou and knock him out with +2 Flare Blitz. Normally, we run Skyplate with this set, but Leftovers is just as fine, or fine too, because Thunderous is not all that common right now. So unless you want to knock it out after Stealth Rocks with +2 Brave Bird, by all means you could do that. Leftovers helps us set up on Clefable and stuff like that, and helps us be an easy switch in for Scizor, which is something that troubles Diancie, and just gain the extra recovery, of course, because Talonflame takes hefty damage. It's slaughtered by Stealth Rocks upon switching. So, what's the first thing you notice when you see this core, Chimp? Looking like we need a water resist, or a switch-in, rather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm keeping that in.
So the water resist that we're thinking of is also capable of setting up hazards. We're going to be a little bit creative and go with Seismitoad this time.
Yeah, because, we could run Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn generally pairs really well with Talonflame and Diancie because it switches into Azumarill really well. It switches into dragons that can threaten Diancie, like Latios with Psyshock, stuff like that, and that threaten Talonflame. So we did decide on a defensive Seismitoad, and if you didn't know, Seismitoad does have Water Absorb, which means it can switch into Scalds and Hydro Pumps from Keldeo and, gain HP because of that. And because this is our primary Keldeo switching right at the moment in our water resist, you really don't need to run any Spadef just because you're not taking any damage at all. So we were thinking about running a physically defensive one, just standard 252 HP, 252 defense, 4 special defense, and of course this is our Stealth Rocker. Scald is always going to be your move of choice. Earthquake is nice. It's not always needed. You can run Grass Knot, you can run Toxic, etc. But we're going to stick with Earthquake as it lets us hit Heatran for more than Scald does. And then Knockoff is a great move because, for example, Rotom might want to stay in and burn you. You can get rid of their leftovers. So while you are getting burnt, getting rid of their leftovers just really helps Talonflame, as well as Diancie pick off weakened Rotoms, and also helps you deal with Keldeo and Lati switch-ins. Basically anything that wants to come in on Seismitoad, Ferrothorn, and just to name a few. So, what were you going to say, Chimp? My bad.
Also, just having a water type Stealth Rocker is amazing because 2 of the most common Stealth Rock users are Landorus and Heatran, and this beats them both pretty handily.
Yeah, like lead Seismitoad can easily beat lead Lando. We get up our rocks, we can Scald Burn them, knock off. And Seismitoad, again, like we said, or like I stated, it weakens Lando for Talonflame and just allows for an easier sweep for one of these two. So um, we kind of, while we have a water resist, we're kind of annoyed by Pokemon like Azumarill, for example. Seismitoad doesn't really want to switch into a Play Rough. And I don't know. It's just like I'm not really comfy with Seismitoad, especially because it's weak to stuff like Ferrothorn, and I really would like to have a backup water check.
Yeah,
And
like the water resist that you think of, Lottie, Celebi, Slowbro, they all have good recovery in Slack Off and Regenerator for Slowbro.
yeah, so that's why we're leaning towards something that can recover basically. And again, we want to be not really creative, but we want to not use what's something that's super common. So Celebi is our Pokemon of choice. Of course, we can change this up and run a Lottie. One of the main reasons why we don't want to run Lottie is because we're just T-Tar food at the moment. Scarftar is really annoying for Talonflame. Scarftar also revenge kills Diancie if we don't obviously rock polish and stuff like that. And Celebi, even though it's still T-Tar bait, it can Giga Drain it back, and it can also tank hits from Pokemon like Latios as well. So we decided on a more defensive set. And I guess you can explain our set before I type it out, Chimp.
So we're doing Substitute Baton Pass, which is really, really cool because one of the main reasons why we're not using Diamond Storm or even a Naive Nature on Diancie is so that you can pass a sub if Heatran switches in on Celebi. You can pass a sub to Diancie, and Lava Plume, if your Naive Nature, has a chance of breaking the sub. But if you're using Timid, it won't be able to break the sub. And if Heatran does go for Roar, you have Magic Bounce to make the Heatran go away.
Yeah, he basically hit it right where it is, basically. The reason we have sub is because, and the reason we have timid, like he said, Heatran cannot break our substitute. If they go for roar, that's nice. We get a free calm mind up on whatever they switch out into, depending on what it is, or we can just hit them. Or if we have a nice win condition right there with rock polish, we go for rock polish, and there it is. We get rid of huge threats, and this spread that right here allows us to outspeed Adamant Bisharp, so we can substitute in Baton Pass before they pursuit or knock off. 80 Spadef, it's so Keldeo Scalds cannot break our substitute, and we get a free pass to something. And the rest is just put in HP and defense. Defense helps us. That defense helps us take on Excadrill teams like Sand teams, stuff like that. Ferrothorn, for example, we can stall it out or recover, plus Giga Drain, plus sub, etc. Gyro Balls is going to be breaking the sub, but like we said, we can stall them out, so it's not going to be doing too much. Now, we definitely want a defogger. Our last two mons, you can just already see by looking at our team, we need a defogger because we have Talonflame. I don't think that Magic Bounce Diancie is like a good enough reason to not run a defogger, just because it's slow before it Mega Evolves. But once you do Mega Evolve, obviously you put in work. But a defogger is definitely something that we would want. Preferably something that can beat hazard setters, or at least threaten them, and is not pursuit trapped by T-Tar. So that's why we're kind of shying away from any of the Lotties, though I love running Lottie, Talonflame, Mega Diancie. I think it's a strong core, but we're trying to shy away from that. So I guess you can introduce the next Pokemon once again, Chimp.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Bachelor, the Crobat.
What a great nickname. Still got it,
Excellent.
Chimp.
Phenomenal nickname. So it's a pretty cool set. Taunt with Super Fang is really, really cool because if they have recovery, they're not going to be able to go for it with Super Fang. Bring them down to 50%, that you can taunt them immediately after. If Ferrothorn tries to go for the Stealth Rock Defog Roar, you can just taunt it immediately after, and of course it won't be able to go for Stealth Rock anymore. And you can whittle it down. They won't be able to lead seed you, of course, if you go for taunt. And you have Roost yourself, so you'll be able to get off recovery, and while they won't.
Yeah, and then Super Fang is also really nice because we have Seismitoad, which baits in certain mons like Ferrothorn as well as like Rotom, and we can just taunt Super Fang, Roost off the Volt Switch damage, stuff like that. You don't necessarily need max speed with Crobat. I tend to go 248 HP because you want to be as bulky as possible while also being able to switch into Stealth Rock the most amount of times. And in all honesty, One speed we could go is enough for, I would say enough for like Mega Sceptile, but because we don't have Brave Bird, I don't think it really matters. Basically enough for Mega Sceptile before it Mega Evolves. So, I don't know, Chimp, how much speed do you think we should hit with this?
I like the 180 speed.
180?
Yeah.
Yeah, that way we outspeed, like, I guess, like, random Alakazam. I don't know what else. Scarftar. Things like that. And then I guess we can just run the rest in defense, to be honest. That way we could take on Ferrothorn better. And,
And with the combination of Celebi and Crobat, like if they want to go for Gyro Balls, you're eventually going to be able to PP stall out the Gyro Ball so you can set up a sub on Ferrothorn.
yeah. And another thing is that this is also a soft check for Clefable if they are not running stored power, because you could taunt Super Fang, weaken them, and then, you know, Talonflame obviously comes in, or even weaken them for Diancie. Talonflame also checks Clefable pretty well, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, when you look at our team, we're really, we just don't really like Lottie at all. Even though Celebi can start off a hit and recover, and Talonflame dodges Draco's, Talonflame, no. Well, I mean, maybe Talonflame could dodge Draco's, you don't know.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, it is pretty quick. Not even gonna lie, nice Brave Bird on out of there. We're really weak to Lotties. Bisharp can be annoying to an extent. We can definitely deal with it. But another Pokemon that's actually really annoying for us is opposing Talonflame. So a nice Pokemon that I really feel fits this role. It also stops Lotties and stuff is Choice Scarf T-Tar. It also helps check Bisharp. It's really nice because you can sub Baton Pass, Celebi to T-Tar, get the sub in as they go for knockoff. You're still behind your sub and they don't know you're set. So Stone Edge is one of the move choices we obviously need, and Pursuit. Stone Edge helps us with Talonflame, as also, you know, birds in general, and Pursuit helps us check the Lotties. Earthquake is one of the last moves just because we want to be able to take on Bisharp. Superpower is also an option. And Chimp, you were talking about using Ice Beam as the final move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, you can explain why Ice Beam.
Well, Lando I and Lando T are both really, really annoying Pokemon, and if you get the surprise Ice Beam, like, Ice Beam isn't uncommon on T-Tar, but it's pretty rare to where, like, you might be able to lull them to sleep and be able to go for Ice Beam.
Yeah.
And be able to knock them out.
Yeah, so, and we also want a Hasty Nature because we didn't want to go minus Spadef for, like, Dracos and stuff to be doing a lot, be knocking us out after, like, Spike, Stealth Rock, and we have Pursuit to obviously deal with the Pokemon, so Lottie can potentially beat us, but the main reason it's just a Pursuit trap Lottie, so if Lottie does end up 2-hit KOing us, that's fine, as long as they die to Life Orb, Sand, stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why we have T-Tar right there. Now, it's a pretty balanced team. I do like it, though. I like the idea of sub Celebi pass to a Calm Mind or Rock Polish Diancie, SD Talonflame. Of course, you are free to change whatever you want to change about the team. Do you have anything else to say, Chimp?
Yeah, you can go Diamond Storm on Diancie. Like, you can always change out the sets, like Joey said. You can go bulk up, but one thing that I don't think we mentioned is that you need Sword Stance on Talonflame to be able to beat Mega Sableye, but we have Mega Sableye kind of answered through Diancie anyway.
Yeah.
But if it does go for like Shadow Ball on the switch to Diancie, it is a 3-hit KO, so you can't really bring in Diancie too many times.
Yeah, and that's why we have leftovers also. It helps us beat Mega Sableye, and it also helps us beat Calm Mind Mega Sableye specifically. And also helps us beat Calm Mind Clefable, though Crobat also can stall it out. You could move the defense to Spadef if you really wanted to even take it on better. You might not even need 375 speed, to be completely honest, because we're not running Brave Bird. So, I mean, I feel like all you need is enough for like Raikou and stuff like that. So you could end up just going 363 speed and then just running the rest in defense. It's just honestly all up to you guys. So whatever you feel like doing, of course. And I think, am I missing anything, Chip?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Obviously, this was a quicker episode. Tell us what you think about the team. Drop a like, you know, if you did enjoy. Feel free to subscribe to myself and, of course, Chimpact. And leave your cores in the description. So, stay chimping. I think that's stay chimping.
Drop a hot one.
All right, stay chimping, guys. Later.